love it. All right. Yes, sir, man. You know the deal. MIC podcast episode 189, where everyone is a master of their own creation. 189 is nuts, man. We're creeping up on that 200, slowly but surely. But our guest today, you know what it is, man. Another dope person in the city doing their thing. This person is a writer, a blogger, a model, content creator, social media manager. She really does it all like a true Renaissance woman. We have Jess Iacullo in the building. Jess, what's going on?
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate it.
Be here.
Just to even give people like a little background on how we know each other, it's just primarily through artist talk, but I'm sure people know you again just for your blog and just really everything that you're doing in the city. We haven't really had a chance to really chop it up. Like every time we see her, it's like, yo, what's up, and then like that's really
exactly.
just it. You know what I mean? Like we did talk a little bit at the panel that you were on, which you did a great job at, by the way. I just want to say that as well. We got to chop it up a little bit there, but it's really like our first at length, conversation, which I'm very, very excited about. Hopefully, someone watching this can just grab something that they didn't know about you, or can just see, Jess is fucking cool. You know what I mean? And she's just a dope person. But I know you're originally from Jersey.
Yes.
So like, what was life in Jersey like before you made the jump to Pittsburgh?
Totally. So born and raised in New Jersey.
What part of Jersey?
I'm from North Jersey.
Okay.
So really close to outside of Manhattan.
Okay.
They actually filmed The Sopranos in my hometown.
Oh, for real?
If you ever watched The Sopranos?
I haven't. I know. Please don't, sue me. Yeah. I'll get around to it, but I know it's an all timer for sure.
I've met James Gandolfini.
No, you for real.
I feel like I have a lot of lore.
That's yeah.
We'll probably
yeah. That's fire though. Yeah. No, I mean that's legendary though. Rest in peace to rest in peace to James Gandolfini, man. For anyone who is living under a rock, he played the titular character, man, Tony Soprano. That's like how'd you meet him, like?
So they were filming one of the episodes around the corner from where I grew up.
That's fire.
And my parents, it was in real time.
Yeah.
My parents were big fans of the show.
Yeah.
And I was young.
Yeah.
I was probably 4 or 5. And my mom had the idea to take me on a walk, past where they were filming because they had the road closed. The trailers were there, all that stuff.
Right.
And she put me in the wagon. We walked up that way, and I have a picture with James Gandolfini.
Were they actively filming and like he was like on break or something like that?
I think it was a break.
That's dope.
Because really, like as an adult, having watched it, it's really just like 10 minutes of a scene.
Yeah.
And they're driving the whole thing.
Right.
So I have a picture of James Gandolfini with the Italian cousin.
Yeah.
And then I think there might be 1 or 2 other ones.
Okay. Word.
Funny picture too.
Listen,
I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah. You're just like, take this picture with this man, and you're like,
but
okay.
But that's what growing up in New Jersey was in a nutshell.
Yeah, because it's so adjacent to New York. I'm sure,
exactly.
Movies get obviously movies get filmed there, but just a lot of entertainment shit kind of moves through Jersey by way of New York. You know
Definitely.
what I mean? So yeah.
Definitely. So, great pizza, great bagels, the beaches. I actually went to University of Pittsburgh. That's what brought me
Copy.
to Pittsburgh.
Why'd you pick Pitt?
Honestly, my dad suggested applying. I really wanted a city school. I had never been to Pittsburgh before.
Okay.
I'd never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Everyone thought that Pittsburgh and Philadelphia were the same city.
Far from. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So I applied on a whim. And I got in, and my dad was like, we can make a weekend out of going to visit this.
That's nice. Yeah.
We went to a Penguins game, and I remember just, the energy.
Yeah.
Like, that was my first black and yellow experience.
Just even off that real quick, not to even cut you off at all, but I became a baseball fan, like, later in my adult life. I was probably, like 28 when I became a baseball fan, probably. 28, like 27, probably 20 years old, but I went with Mike to a Pirates game, and I don't even remember how we got tickets, or if we just bought tickets just because he wanted to go.
Right.
But went with him, and it was a 10 inning game. We won in 10 innings, but it's just like, watch the full game, and to sit through 10 innings and win, man. Mm-hmm. It was, if we lost, I don't know if I would be a fan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, that fucking stunk.
Yeah.
But to win, and just like you said, that energy, bro, I was like, oh wait, no, this is lit. Because like by the 10th inning, I was on my feet like, yo, let's fucking go. Like, you know, like I was so invested.
It's infection.
Yeah, so I mean, like I can definitely see how a Pens game just was like,
oh my
shit,
gosh,
this is like a
I remember there was a little kid, you know, next to my dad, and he was like high-fiving my dad every time the Penguins scored.
Yeah.
It just was so communal.
Yeah.
So
Great
communal.
word. Yeah, facts.
Go hard for their sports team.
Yeah.
You know, in New Jersey and in New York.
Yeah.
But it just was so different.
Yeah, facts.
And we explored downtown, and then I saw the school, and I kind of just like, I kind of knew.
You just fell in love with
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So like, how did you feel about the way like the campus was set up? Like it's way more just like it's like just a part of Pittsburgh rather than its own separate thing.
100%.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much I loved the campus.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, the Cathedral of Learning is beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't really do too much research beforehand.
Yeah.
But yeah, just love the campus. And then I actually had a friend of my grandpa's that his granddaughter was in law school at Pitt.
Oh, wow.
So her and her friend met my dad for coffee and just, you know, talked about how much they love Pitt. So I think to also have that, like, it was a very human trip, you know. I was able to like immerse myself in the like, you know, hear firsthand experiences, you know, see the city. So, and it was funny. My nickname growing up was Ketchup Queen because I loved Heinz ketchup, and I had no idea that was related to Pittsburgh.
Okay. So
when we landed and we were going through the airport, there was like a Heinz ketchup, like home of Heinz ketchup.
And you were like, yeah, this is
So it's just a lot of I believe in science.
Yeah.
Science.
Trust me, I feel you. Like again. Actually, matter of fact, I'm not gonna rehash it. You know my story. You know what it was, but no, I mean, I feel like
get it.
I ain't like I'm not the most superstitious person, but again, like when I visited here for a week, like we got food for free on the house. That still to this day is not happening to me, and I'll be asking now. Fuck it, I'll be like, yo, man, can you just, you know what I mean, just no, damn, all right, and that should happen twice in a week. Like I'm like. What the fuck? You know, like it was just weird. Like I'm just like I can't not pay attention. That's wild.
100%.
No, but so no. That's super dope.
Knew.
And it's just I feel like Pittsburgh just really has like if you like are open and like you know kind of open your eyes to like I feel like the city just has that effect on people.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, it's especially coming from New York.
Yeah,
you know, it's a very different city experience.
Facts.
You know, it almost feels. I mean, I don't want anyone to get mad at me saying this, but you know, it does really feel like a big town.
Yeah.
You know, everyone is 1 degree of separation. I mean,
but it's not as overwhelming. You know,
think of how many places we've run into each other.
Fact. Yeah. 100%.
Like, all the different areas.
100%.
I feel like I've like even driven by you on like cars
no,
street
no,
sometime. I definitely have.
100%. Like I've definitely just been driving around like and seen Sydney and Treble. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah,
exactly.
I'm just like, you know, I mean, just like, but like that's what's so dope about Pittsburgh, yo. That's what's just so dope about Pittsburgh.
Exactly, and
you know,
it's not like that at all.
Yeah, no, like
no one cares who you are.
Yeah,
no
at all.
Even
if you are famous, we'll be like, I don't give a
exactly.
I don't care about that, you know. So you did major in like journalism or marketing or
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
So I was the dual major in communications and nonfiction writing.
Okay, dope. So you know you go through Pitt. What and just even what brought you to Pitt and like you know made you appreciate it? Like what made you stay?
Definitely. So I actually had a gap in between me graduating and me moving back here. Cool. So I graduated with a dual degree in communications and nonfiction writing. I had started interning at an advertising agency when I was in high school.
Okay.
So I had kind of, you know, some level of corporate, you know, big city agency experience.
Right.
And I've always loved marketing. I've always loved advertising. So, you know, to be able to kind of immerse myself in that. Is the mic working?
No. Yeah, I'm just like I'll do that for, like for the entire pod. That's just me just being like, yo, like we're all good, you know.
I know.
So, like,
I either hold it way too close or way too.
Don't even know. Like if you are like, I'll just tell you like, yo, just talk to Mike. But I'll be like, I'm gonna always look back there. So yeah, don't even trip on that. Okay, yeah, I'm listening. Still.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, just having like that experience, I knew I wanted to go into marketing.
Yeah.
And then I started my Instagram page in college.
Okay.
So that kind of set me up. I had a few internships through Pitt. I interned at Food Network magazine.
Oh, that's fire.
In New York.
That's dope.
Thank you. It was super cool.
Yeah.
And then I was back at the advertising agency for a little bit.
Okay.
And then when I graduated, I lived at home and I worked at Business Insider as a food video writer.
Wow.
And producer. And then I went from there to Forbes for 6 months.
Shit. It's before you moved to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. Oh, yeah. Okay, word.
I've lived a lot of lives.
Okay, yeah, facts. and like just even scaling back, and you can kind of just grab from what you remember at all, but like just like as a kid, were you always just kind of like, do you have that bug in you, like just like creatively, like what were you into creatively as a kid?
I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Okay, all right, word.
So yeah, and then I remember having this vivid conversation at the dinner table one night. I just was like, I want to be a photographer. I remember my parents being like, well, just because I feel like, especially in media and marketing, the landscape is so different than when I was like 10, 11, 12.
For sure.
But I did go to fashion camp. Okay. So I did have some actual fashion experience under my
fashion belt. Camp. Well, yeah, describe that. Yeah.
So it was a week-long camp.
Okay.
And
this is back in Jersey, right?
Yeah, this is in Jersey. I think I was maybe 12, 13, 14.
Interesting. Okay.
That era.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. We made a mood board, presented a whole collection to, I forget who it was.
Yeah.
But, there were some people. And being so close to New York, we did a field trip to Mode, which is where they go on Project Runway. It's where they get all their fabrics.
Okay, yeah.
So that was a really surreal experience.
Okay, word.
I made a skirt.
Did you know what like it was like at that time, or like is this like in hindsight?
Oh, I love Project Runway.
Okay, word. All right.
Someone I was friends with in middle school, her cousin or a friend of her cousin, was a contestant.
Get the fuck out of here.
She actually got me like a signed picture from him.
That's dope.
And we're still friends on Facebook.
Dope,
and he's at Ed Hardy now.
Oh, for
which
real?
has come back, which is amazing.
Yeah, what? I didn't even know it was still around.
Right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I saw like a juicy just like track top like the other night. Yeah. Yeah, just like out,
It's back.
Yeah, for sure. Juicy like it's always been around though.
Everything always comes.
Yeah, facts, exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
But they don't make it like they used to.
They don't, because it's just too like, back when it was probably like it was just like an organic thing.
Yes.
Now everyone is just trying to chase that, and like they're just trying to chase that.
Right.
It's not organic, you know what I mean? And it's like if someone like finds like vintage wise,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Just like
I'm
something from that era, it's fire. You know what I mean? But like the super commercialized version of it is like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went to fashion camp. I was told I would be a really good accessories designer.
Okay,
which
I agree.
Never took off with that.
I mean, the glasses are fire though. Like it's just like the taste is there.
Thank you. So I feel like it's cool to be able to weave that into my content.
Yeah.
But growing up, I never social media wasn't a thing.
Yeah, no.
It was MySpace.
Yeah, definitely.
And then Facebook.
For sure. Yeah.
It wasn't like I want to create content and be a content creator.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Run social media for businesses.
Sure.
But I had some really solid experience in New York. Kind of got burnt out from working for bigger companies.
Yeah.
And then I moved back to Pittsburgh, honestly, on a whim.
Yeah.
And that was 7 years ago.
Crazy, man.
On October 4th.
Yo, congrats, man, on your big 7. That's fucking incredible. And just even speaking of, so like your blog, it's been like 11 years for you now, right? Running that?
I started it when I was 19.
Fucking insane, son. So yeah, 11 years. So just even kind of walk us through what inspired you to start the blog and just like how it was, just kind of creating that.
So I was 19, so I was going into
junior year or senior.
I was going into my junior year.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it was right before I was interning at Food Network magazine.
Okay.
So part of me wanted to bring, real life experience with me and be like, oh, look at this, put me on a TV show. I love Ina Garten, so
yeah, okay.
That would have been dope.
I watched a lot of Food Network too when I was a kid, man. Just like Iron Chef, like Good Eats with fucking Emerald. My mom loved Emerald, man. Rachel Ray.
Yes. 30-minute meals. Yeah. I wasn't cooking a 30-minute meal, but I was invested.
Absolutely, yo, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fucking Bobby Flay versus like when Bobby Flay would just pull up on like
Bobby
a
Flay.
Yeah, beat Bobby Flay.
So
yeah, he would just pull up on like a dude with a grill in like Jersey or whatever. He'd be like, "Yo, man, I wanna, I wanna see if you can cook a fucking good burger, man." What's up? And I'm just like, this is kind of dope. Like, this is fire.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I was interning for the magazine, so I wanted to bring something with me, and it was like this era of, everyone was running like a food Instagram.
For real. I think I missed that wave. I feel like that's even just like more popping now.
Yeah. It was different then.
Okay.
It kind of was a different approach to it, and social media was so different. I would post the shittiest pictures and then get 1,000 likes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'm like,
to miss those days. Yeah.
Now it's like, I mean, even the same for clients.
Yeah,
like,
people will like just like fucking critique the color correcting on. It's like, yeah, this filter is like 70% sharpness. I would have gone for the 60.
Right.
Not liking. Yeah.
Or the content that like I throw together.
Yeah.
You know, that's what but I digress.
Yeah.
I could go on and on about
Yeah, no, I'm sure,
yeah. But yeah, I forget where I was going with
you were just
just
again just
talking
like
about the past.
the beginning of
the beginning of Hungry Girl Big City.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Hungry Girl, no Iron Girl.
Mm-hmm.
An ode to my AOL screen name growing up.
Okay.
And I started it then, and then it kind of just like blew up.
Okay.
It was really easy to get followers then. Like I remember hitting 20,000 my senior year of college.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, really wild.
Yeah, right.
And then, I was able to use that to apply to my first job out of college.
Dope, okay.
And that's when I was at Business Insider.
Oh, okay. How was that experience? Or just like even like before you go into that, like how was it like, with Food Network too when you interned over there?
Definitely. I mean, I loved it. They were really, it was an unpaid internship. Yeah. So they were it was like, it would be 5:02. Mm-hmm. Some days if I just lost track of time, they'd be like, you have to leave.
Yeah.
They were really great to work with.
Yeah.
And it was in the Hearst building.
Okay.
Which houses like 17 magazine.
Okay.
Cosmo, GQ. So the building itself is beautiful.
Right.
And I mean, I love New York.
Yeah.
I wanted to be Carrie Bradshaw on Sex in the City.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I know. Just like women from New York or like even like the Jersey area. That's like y'all's LeBron. Yeah,
exactly.
It's Carrie Bradshaw. Like
exactly.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
The amount of college papers I've written about Sex in the City.
Yeah, man.
And it's still relevant.
But it's an impactful show, man. You know, what I mean, it's just like kind of like a Sopranos, where like it's like certain shit just like touches an audience. You know what I mean? It's like it just kind of inspires you and like kind of like the best cases. Don't be inspired by Sopranos though. That's kind of There's only so much you could pull from that show. Like
exactly.
Great.
Great.
Art and life. Yeah, you gotta like toe that line.
Yeah, separate the two.
So you started the blog and like you wanted it to always be a food blog then, or just like was it just like kind of like a regular blog or
plan,
okay, all right.
I never had a plan.
All right.
It kind of was just like throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
And seeing what stuck.
What did it like initially start as? Like you doing just like writing about your life, or?
It was definitely very photo heavy.
Okay.
I was going to school here. Yeah. I was going back to my parents in New Jersey. I spent a semester studying abroad in Italy.
Oh, that's crazy.
So it kind of was like covering all the bases.
Yeah.
And then I unknowingly created this persona. It was like the hungry girl, big city persona. Mm-hmm. Going to a school like Pitt. It was before, there were a lot of influencers like there
for sure. Yeah, right.
So, and it was before Reels. I remember when Instagram stories got introduced to the world.
All right.
So it just was like a very different way of posting, and I feel like I was able to like grow an audience that was really tapped in.
It's so funny, man, because like I remember even when Instagram stories dropped, everyone was like, "Yo, stop trying to be Snapchat."
Exactly. And now it's stop trying to be TikTok.
Now everyone's like, I'm gonna add this person to my close friends, and I'm gonna take this person off.
Exactly.
It's just like, yo.
And when do we get so stingy with our likes? Or like what we post?
I know.
I love to shit post.
I don't know what that is.
I know.
I'm guilty of it too. Like I catch myself being like, man, I ain't even gonna fuck with like not out of like nothing malicious, but I'm just like, I don't think that this was my like, and like it won't be from like. Like my peer stuff, because like that stuff like I tend to like more.
Totally.
But it's just kind of like more like I don't know, like celebrity stuff, or like there are people that generally comment under like celebrities' pictures. I think that whole perspective has changed. I'm just like, why are you like I get if it's like a meme and it's like laughing emojis or just like an LMAO or just like some shit, but like they'll be like really be trying to like address the person from the comments. I'm just like, are you dead at like for real? Like but no,
everyone's a critic now.
Everyone's a fucking critic. There's like there's stingy, likes or not likes for that matter. Is the terrain has changed, man.
Oh, 100%.
The terrain has changed.
It's like a fight to get anyone to see what you're posting anyway.
No, man, I know. So how did it your blog were just kind of just like, you just like showcasing your life and it's like, pretty much different moments. And when did it kind of evolve into like the whole food scene?
Totally. So I feel like I've always posted about food and then me. Yeah. Then I kind of was like how that fit into my life organically. And then I feel like as far as getting to the point where it was, able to be monetized.
Yeah, right.
Definitely took a while.
Yeah. It
definitely was a very gray area to kind of be like, oh, okay, you want to work with me, this is what I charge. There's a lot of, trade. It also wasn't so regulated, now
100%.
like the paid partnership label.
Yeah, back then it was the Wild West.
Back then, anything really flew. Like sometimes memories will come up, and I think, why did I think that was a good, but it resonated.
Yeah, facts.
I digress. But it kind of was like, I feel like for me, the turning point was when it started shaping into feeling like a brand.
Okay.
As opposed to just, the separate entity.
For sure, yeah.
I kind of remember in college, like especially my senior year, I'd run into people in the bathroom at the bar. They'd be like, "Oh my God, are you hungry, girl?"
Yeah.
Oh, or like, crazy. Yeah, or like, "Oh, our group chat is like the Hungry Girls." That's what they would call it. Like it kind of was like
it just stuck.
This thing, which was really cool. And then so when I graduated and I worked at Business Insider, I feel like that also kind of solidified the food avenue.
Yeah.
So I essentially was producing videos, which looked a lot different than how people make and edit reels now.
Yeah, right.
But every time I would make a video, I would have like a producer label attached to the work that I was making. So I kind of was like rapidly gaining followers and an audience, and especially with certain videos, they'd reach like millions of views on Facebook. And I'd be in them sometimes. Yeah, not all the time.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, right.
Definitely.
That's fucking nuts.
Talk about the Wild West.
Yeah, yeah. You were. It's just like there's no manual for this shit. You know what I mean? Like you're just doing you, and just even off that, like, so like, did you have like any certain approach to like building like your brand and like your blog? Or again, I mean, I know a lot of it was just like kind of making it up as you went along. But like, was there any approach that you kind of had in mind when you were doing it?
I mean,
just winging
it was nice because I feel like when I was applying to jobs, I knew I wanted to be in the media space, and I think what surprised me was being able to take my, the Instagram, and then I built a website at the time, and I was like, oh, this is something that, counts as work experience.
Yeah,
I feel like the older I got, and even having friends now that, are marketing managers that are looking to hire people, they're looking for real life experience.
Yeah, right.
And that was really rare.
Yeah.
Not just like, oh, here's what I did in school. It was like, no, I actually built this.
Facts.
And I built a brand.
Do you do it full time at this point?
I do.
Okay.
But I feel like, as you've seen, I have many different
Of course, yeah. Of course.
Vintage,
literally, yeah.
On a panel.
Facts.
So there's a lot kind of under, the business umbrella.
Yeah, definitely. How do you just like from like the blogging standpoint, just like the brand that you built on social media, how do you keep that like interesting for yourself? Like
That's a great question.
like not make it a chore for you.
Great question.
Yeah.
I feel like talking about the past, now I'm like, oh, that's when it was so fun.
Facts.
And it's not that it's not fun now.
It's just, but like the come up is always just gonna be more fun.
Exactly.
It just is what it is. Like,
and now that it is full time, so kind of what takes up most of my time is I do social media marketing and management for other businesses.
Okay.
So that's kind of how and why we met. Artist Talk Mental Health
of course.
is a client of mine. But I probably have a list of 10 to 12 clients at a time, most of them in the restaurant space, and I manage their social media, manage their content, manage their engagement, customer relations, creating graphics, creating ads.
Did they reach out to you just like off the strength of like your brand, or like did you like kind of like do some legwork there?
It's a little bit of both.
A
little bit of both. I'd say I'm really lucky right now to kind of be in a place where a lot of my clients have been, long time retainer clients.
Nice.
Which I'm really grateful for.
Yeah.
Especially in the restaurant space.
Right.
It's never been harder to run a restaurant. It's never been harder to work in marketing.
Why do you think that is?
I think in the, the restaurant space, things are getting more expensive as far as ingredients.
Eggs are like $5.
Exactly.
That shit is fucked up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
That shit is nuts, man. Yeah.
Yeah, eggs, let alone like, like buying, other things in bulk.
Yeah, like just, and just even from like a restaurant standpoint, like high quality, like
exactly
chicken and all that.
Even like, I have a Italian restaurant client. They make all their pastas homemade. So it's also, the labor too.
Facts.
I think part of my job, especially in the past year, has been, how can I showcase to people just what goes in to a single dish that is put in front of you.
Facts.
Especially kind of, I feel like, as we touched on, everyone is a critic now. Yeah. Everyone thinks they're Anthony Bourdain now.
Yeah, right.
And not in the good way, not in the uplifting positive
way. Yeah, right. In the aloof kind of asshole-ish way. Like, yeah. Or like trying to be that. You know what I mean? Like, bro, again, Anthony Bourdain was in like just some remote part of Asia,
exactly,
tattoo with a nail and a hammer. You know what I mean?
While drinking a beer.
But it was organic. He wasn't trying to be that. He was like, I'm gonna do this. Y'all can film the shit if you want.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do it regardless. You know.
Exactly.
But now people have just, it's just like it's just the product of the times, unfortunately. But
100%. And I feel like what was like so great about him is that he guided a conversation, but he let the people tell their stories.
100%.
And now, I kind of feel like it's this battle between customer and consumer and, restaurant owner, manager.
Yeah.
They're I've really noticed there isn't this middle ground of, having a conversation about an experience. It's like,
whack.
It's like, let's take it to a Facebook group or a Google review.
Jesus.
So, a big part of my job is kind of thinking like, how can I embody each brand as they are, as they exist?
How do you, because that's a lot of like just shoes that like you're putting yourself in, and like
truly,
I know like you have like a couple, but like some are going to be vastly different from each other. You know what I mean? Like obviously like you can't just use the same approach like you did for one restaurant with like the next, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do you even kind of...
It's a lot of like A, B, and D. It's a lot of testing, like A and B testing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had asked, how do I keep my own brand interesting? I feel like I'll try a lot of things on my own brand, and see what works,
fair enough,
what doesn't work. And then I kind of think for each client, how can I adapt that to what they're doing or what they're doing well? And really just storytelling. I think having the nonfiction writing background in college, getting my degree in that, I think that really helped.
Sure.
Especially, in a time of AI and ChatGPT and everyone sounds the same.
Yeah, right.
Everyone formulates things the same.
Right.
So obviously trying to fight that, mold. But also, in my own brand, I really try to show up as my most authentic self.
Of course, yeah.
Online, in real life, I'm very big on that.
Yeah, right.
So I think with my clients, it's like, every time I switch to their Instagram page, I'm like, okay, I'm in umami mode, or like, okay, I'm in Senti mode. Like, I'm the Senti persona.
Is that not draining for you though? Like,
I mean, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I am a Gemini,
okay,
so I kind of love it.
Okay.
But I feel like I love customer relations.
Yeah.
Every time someone posts an Instagram story, I'm always like, how was everything?
Yeah.
So like kind of being able to hear feedback in that sense. And I really do love my clients.
Yeah,
Not to be like cheesy about it.
No,
but I was a customer before.
Yeah, right.
From, a lot of them before I, took it on as, their marketing manager. So
have you ever had a client, like, obviously, like, don't gotta name no names, or like you can go in as much detail as you want to, or obviously not, but like, was there anyone that you worked with that just had no idea what they were doing? You're just like, oh, this is like, you ever watch that show fucking Bar Cleanup or whatever?
Yeah.
Where like they just go to a bar and it's like, where like Gordon Ramsay will show up and it's like, you have dirt under your stove.
Yes, luckily.
Like, any of those situations, like social media wise, like,
no, that's a good question. Luckily, as far as restaurant clients, no.
Okay, word. All right.
My clients, I'm in the kitchens, I'm filming, and I'm always like, these kitchens are so clean.
That's dope.
Like, I'll be there and they'll be cleaning. I'll see it in real life. But I think one thing I have encountered, and I've had clients that I don't have.
Yeah, sure,
Especially, I've been freelancing since 2018.
Crazy.
So I feel like my biggest thing with, a problem client is they don't really understand the value or what their return on investment is.
Yeah.
And granted, I'm not trying to charge,
out the
$1
ass. Yeah. Right.
To, create really stale things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think sometimes there's a disconnect between, well, we're paying you. Where are the customers?
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't make
people
your business run, and that's your that's your job to run the business that people want to go to.
Yeah, right.
I can only do so much.
Was that like? Did you find like that was kind of like a more of like an older generation, this kind of like mentality? Okay, yeah, it varies a little bit.
It varies.
Okay, all right, yeah.
And granted, it's not that I didn't understand it.
Of course, yeah, right.
Everyone, I want you to make your bag as much as
but it's not like you're all necessarily,
But you also have to understand that the landscape that we're in,
exactly,
and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
it's a team effort,
100%. And just even to that point, like, how did, because like you said you hit like what 20K followers like what like a year and some change after like you started up your page, or how long did it take you?
Yeah, I think 2 years.
That's fucking, like, how did you initially
a year and a half
just build that up,
just like, posting constantly?
Okay, all right.
I mean, it also was so different then. Like repurposing content was a big thing. So you would repost photos from other people would send me photos. Right. I wasn't really worried about an aesthetics.
Yeah, so, right. Yeah,
the feed was every which way.
And like, would you like just use hashtags, or like what
hashtags,
work for you?
Tag like 1 million accounts.
Okay,
like that was the strategy too.
Yeah.
Tag like really big accounts, and hope that they would repost you. I think spending some time in different areas and like spreading that out really helped.
Yeah.
But I've been at 36,000 for,
I think, no, you were at 39 last time I checked. Yeah,
on Instagram.
Yeah, I swear.
I think I have 36. I check every day.
For real? Okay,
yes.
Mate, damn, do I have dyslexia? Is that like, did I see it?
Like, is your Instagram
yeah,
mine?
Because like I thought you were about to hit 40K. Like I thought it was 30. Okay, all right, yeah, okay.
I would love to hit 40K.
That's crazy. All right.
I've been at 36,000 for a little bit, so I feel like, especially right now, I've fought making reels for a really long time. Just from coming from Business Insider and like seeing what goes into crafting even a social video. I'm like, video shouldn't be made so fast.
Yeah.
I've come off my like mountain a little bit.
Yeah.
But I love photos. That's why I fell in love with posting on Instagram.
Dope.
So it's kind of taken me a minute to figure out what I want the video narrative to be.
Okay. And like you even just kind of touched on it there, but like was that whole, just like when you were building your audience and all that, was that just something like that came natural to you? Was it like something like you kind of learned and trial and error sort of thing, or
as far as making videos?
No, just like when you were building the audience on your brand.
Building the audience.
Yeah, like was that like just like navigating social media, like was it like a natural thing for you?
Yeah.
It
was.
We kind of grew up with it, you know what I mean? So it's like,
especially being a writer, I think that really helped.
Also true. Yeah,
like I didn't think about it this way at the time, but I really had established a brand voice really quickly. I was 20, so and I was in college.
What do you think like the voice was?
It was like, very fries before guys. Okay. Like, I feel like that's why, my audience was mostly female.
Yeah.
I think that's why, like, girls would always come up to me and be like, "Oh my God, we're always like, what would hungry girl do?"
Yeah.
All this stuff. I feel like I really like built that.
Yeah.
And I would post myself a lot.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like
bloggers don't do that.
Right.
Or like they didn't used to, at least. Like I feel like now, again, people are just like fame hungry and whatever. So like you have to see me. I'm the one that's this
right
and witty and aesthetically pleasing. You know what I mean? But back then, like it was a lot of just like not anonymous, but all you knew was the blog. Like you ain't know the person. Like a blogger just like walk by you in the street and like you wouldn't even know.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like all of that kind of combined, and then as I got older, I grew out of
mature.
Grew out of that phase.
Yeah.
And I feel like the brand voice kind of grew as my brand grew.
Yeah, just like pretty organically.
Yeah, I changed the brand name. I trademarked my name to Hungry Jess Big City.
Yeah, nice.
And thank you, in the spring of 2021.
Okay.
So I feel like kind of at that point.
Did anyone prompt you to do that, or was that just all self?
I got a cease and desist.
Okay. Oh, for real?
So that was like a really good business lesson.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
Was it from who?
There is like a hungry girl, like Hungry GIRL.
Okay.
She's not necessarily like there's just another entity that exists in that way.
Like that's really all that it
right,
is.
which I get business. I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't a battle or anything. It was pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah. Just
and it was, the June of 2020. So
okay, yes.
What else was I doing besides reframing my brand, I guess?
Yeah, right.
But I'm grateful. I had a great lawyer.
Yeah.
I can't recommend him enough.
Nice.
Learned a lot about just because you have an LLC doesn't mean you don't need a trademark. So that's definitely something.
There you go. Yeah.
I tell everyone.
Early lesson.
And it happened.
Yeah.
It got me to where I am today.
Sure.
I think, now that I'm 30 and it's been 11 years since I started Hungry Girl Big City, I think, having a little bit more of like a mature name.
Yeah.
I'm glad I have that now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I think it fits a little
all happened
better.
for a reason, just like a part of the journey. I respect
100%.
So just even because like I know 20K is like a pretty big milestone, but like what were some of like your personal like holy shit, like I'm kind of moving out here, like moments when you were
well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I mean definitely working at Food Network magazine.
Yeah, I mean that's
was major.
Yeah, facts.
My senior year of college, that's when, like Snapchat was a big thing and the brands had their Snapchats. Like it wasn't so like spammy as it is now.
Yeah.
Like Food Network magazine had, their own
a
Snapchat
page. Yeah, right, exactly.
I took over Cosmopolitan's Snapchat page for like National Bagel Day.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking huge.
So that was a pretty major moment.
Yeah.
And I mean, even getting my job at Business Insider was pretty major.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, moving from there to Forbes.
It's crazy.
Forbes wasn't a great work experience, but to be able to say that I did it.
You passed through.
Before 25.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it.
Yeah, facts.
So I feel like little moments like that. I did work on a Food Network TV show during the pandemic. I think they called me like a field producer. So I kind of helped source some potential restaurants. If you've ever seen The Best Thing I Ever Ate, it's when the Food Network shows.
I haven't. It's like
it's like when the chefs
newer age show.
Kind of. It's like when the chefs like there'll be a different theme on each episode and they'll say like what their favorite dishes from a specific restaurant. So I help like source some potential.
The Food Network shows I liked were just like Iron Chef.
I know,
or
classic.
Like, or there was another one where it's like, what was the one where it would be like stages, like it would be like you cook. It was like kind of like Iron Chef, but like they would chopped, man. It was chopped. So chopped was crazy.
They would pick the things in the picnic basket.
No, but it was like someone would cook a dish, they would eat it, and like.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible. I don't know why you have a career, and then others be like.
I feel like the Food Network was like always like
ruthless, man.
But they were like a little bit more PG. I feel like.
Oh no, yeah. That's my own little, flair to it. Yeah, but that's just what it felt like though, because like they'd be like picking at it with a fork. If it like wasn't up to par, they'd be like.
And then the feedback was so like lackluster.
A little raw, yeah. But if it's fire, they like won't talk. They'll be like, "It's good."
Right. Exactly.
Oh, it's good. Yeah.
I actually, and then I worked on a. Do you know who Food God is? He's like friends with the Kardashians.
No.
His name's Jonathan something.
Yeah, like Groff or something. Like, is it?
Yeah, he's really good friends with Kim.
Yeah. Is it Kim or Courtney?
I think it's Kim.
Is it Kim? Okay, yeah, fuck it. Yeah.
But he goes by Food God.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, word.
Yeah. He had a show on Discovery Plus or Discover Plus, and I was a food producer on that during the pandemic.
That's fucking nuts. Yeah.
Like,
would you ever like work in TV at all? Or
I mean, I would love to work in TV or publishing in some capacity.
Yeah.
I just did a video with Bon Appetit.
That's dope.
I helped them film for Fet Fisk because they're one of their they were part of the 25 best restaurants in Bon Appetit.
No, dope.
So since I was based in Pittsburgh, I filmed it for them. So kind of like re-pulling my insider days knowledge. But yeah, I feel like just like these little random moments of
just like, wow, like I'm here now. Like, wow, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's like over time, or just like this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I guess sometimes I think, what's the ceiling? Is there a ceiling? What else could I, maybe try that I haven't done yet? So I feel like that's kind of where the, fashion stuff has come in.
Yeah, okay.
Like I just modeled in
You've been modeling though, like like you modeled
just
for
like a fashion show though, which was
okay,
crazy.
I did see you post. Yeah, how was that?
It was surreal. I blacked out.
Yeah.
The lights so bright.
Kathy Olivar made your
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, man. Shout out to Kathy, man.
Kathy's
Super
the best.
fucking. I mean, she's just.
Has she been on the podcast?
Yeah. No, she's a beast.
She's amazing.
She's a beast, man.
She designed that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
she's the sweetest person ever.
She's a sweetheart. She's just like her fashion. Man. Again, like I ain't like even into like the whole high end fashion like look scene, but she just makes some stunning stuff.
She's incredible.
Like, holy shit, yo! Like,
she's
how do you
incredible.
Think of that? Like, that's crazy.
Exactly how I felt with.
That just blows my mind. Man.
Yeah, with the outfit that she made. Yeah. But yeah, she designed the look, and it was a sit down dinner that me and the other model walked through, and then it was paired to match the food course.
Yeah.
So everything ties back to food, I
feel.
Yeah. Food and fashion go hand in hand.
Yeah, right. Because it's like a luxury experience, like food, like you said, fashion. It just kind of goes really hand in hand as far as like the lavishness of
exactly.
Like
100%.
Yeah. And again, you touched on it earlier, just like how like authentic content and just like content that's like real to you is super important. Again, I think that's like we're just in that age of like certain people have a mystique that they can keep or curate or whatever, and it's genuine. Like shout out to like like a Frank Ocean, like is in that lane where he can just kind of be aloof and do what it is. But how do you kind of toe that line between like creating content that's authentic to you and honest for people, and then just like kind of keeping stuff for yourself?
It's a good point. I feel like I've really altered how I post about my personal life.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't post as much about my day-to-day personal life
right
as I used to. I feel like I also watched like a lot of Criminal Minds during the pandemic, so
that was one way they got him. Yeah.
So
the story post is like, oh, she's here. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, like not posting where I am in the moment. Really being aware of not posting where I live.
Yeah.
Even like
that's internet 101. Like,
exactly. Well, I mean, I'll watch content and I'm like,
I was literally about to say, yo,
go ahead. Stay in the life.
Crazy.
You're posting with timestamps.
Yeah.
You're posting the front of your apartment building.
Yeah, right.
I know where you live. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like, yo, it's just like, listen, I get the whole, like, here's my life raw and authentic, unfiltered.
Right.
But it's like, yo, we don't necessarily need to know fucking everything.
Right.
What's that saying? Like, I could have gone my entire life without knowing that. Like, some people kind of cross that line where it's
like let's bring back diaries.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Some form of clandestine. Just like just
we don't
you shit.
Share everything.
Everything, man. Come on, man.
And that's I feel like that's kind of the world that we're in now is everyone shares everything.
Yeah, right.
And it's it's a lot.
It doesn't need to be that way. Like again, like you could hop on IG right now and like at least have an idea of what Selena Gomez is doing right now.
Right.
Which is crazy. Like you would never 10, 15 years ago you wouldn't know.
Right.
The fuck Selena's doing during her day. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
And you would be okay with that. You'd be like, I see her on Wizards of Waverly Place, and that's okay.
Exactly.
If that's all I see of her, that's cool, man.
Right.
But now it's like, yo, what is she? Oh, like, or like, when people would like, really in more of the like the celebrity cases, but like they'll like kind of piece together certain photo moments and then like try to figure out who they're dating and shit. Mm-hmm. It gets fucking crazy, dog.
Like the tabloids.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of like something I'm really aware of is being aware of what I'm posting about personally.
Facts. I know like at one point for you, like you said, just like at some point like along the way for you, kind of like the writing focus of your blog kind of got lost in like the mix there for a little bit. How did you like navigate that point for yourself, and like why do you think it kind of reached that point?
Definitely. I mean, even being a writing major in college, most of what I was doing was reading and writing for class. So I feel like
this way a little bit more. So I just want to make sure you're in frame, man.
Just scooching out of frame.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I feel like doing it so much and kind of reaching a point of burnout.
Okay, yeah.
That kind of took a back seat. And then also, I feel like as I got more clients and kind of had a little bit more of a, social media focus on, my day-to-day writing was copywriting.
Yeah, okay.
But I feel like, slowly starting to like fall in love with writing again and also reading.
Yeah.
That's helped a lot. And I started a Substack, which I haven't really held myself to.
What is Substack? I'm not even hip to that. What is that?
It's kind of like email marketing, and you could like with blogs essentially. So like you can write long form, you can add photos, and people can subscribe.
Okay.
And you can send it out.
Dope. Okay.
So it's like more of like a curated audience, and people, you could put it behind a paywall, all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, I feel like one of my most toxic relationships is with writing. It's something that even when I do it for, I wrote 2 articles for Table Magazine.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to sit down and write with plenty of time.
Yeah, right.
I always wait until the last minute.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a discipline that I'm still trying to teach myself.
Yeah.
But, I'm better about it now than I was maybe a year ago.
Like, I feel like that's kind of common, right? Well, I don't want to say common, but like I feel like that's really like in the gumbo of like the writer's experience at some point.
Definitely.
Like, and like, how do you even just like what gets your creative like out of that creative like funk?
Definitely. Yeah. I think. Well, I have 2 phones, so putting my work phone, both phones on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
And being able to kind of like step away from being plugged in, that helps a lot.
Nice.
I think also, immersing myself in things that, inspire me, that make me think outside of, my day to day or the things that I have to do.
What does inspire you, would you say?
Traveling.
Nice.
Traveling definitely inspires me.
For real. Like, it just, you might as well just be going to like another planet when you travel.
100%.
It's just like you have no idea of like the way of life, like cultural norms, like what's perfectly normal over here. Like people will look at you crazy, like if you did it, to wherever you're traveling to. So like again, it might as well be Mars. Like you have no idea where you're going for real.
Exactly. And I think, it's easy to forget how big the world is.
It just gives you just such a cultural perspective. It can just like, just open your eyes just to life.
Yeah.
And just like what degree of life, people are just living. Like, what does it take to, just kind of achieve a happy life or just like, just like what, I'm doing an ass job at articulating it, but it just opens your eyes so much.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. And I think too, also, I have this fear of being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I think traveling really pushes that.
Yeah.
Because you're forced out of,
completely
your routine, or
you got to figure it out.
Traveling to new places that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really helps a lot, reading, especially from, for writing. I think for a long time I was like, oh, I have to force myself to want to read really serious books.
Yeah, right.
But, I love a rom-com.
Yeah.
I love a romance novel.
Yeah.
So I think especially if it's framed in a way where, the narration jumps chapter to chapter, it's really great inspiration for, when I want to write a book and things like that.
I'm gonna be real, man. I need pictures in my shit, man.
And that's what works for you.
That would be
that's
real.
That's what works for you.
That's just the level where I'm at, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
Yeah.
A lot of the books I read come in pictures.
Yes.
It just is what it is. But like, what are some of the like some of your favorite places that like you travel to? Like, I know you were in Italy recently. Yeah. So like,
I was in Italy when I was in college.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm in college. Like, did you travel recently though?
I was in Paris.
Paris.
And
okay.
London.
Word. All right. Word.
Loved London. I was very inspired by London.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting because it was my 3rd time.
Okay.
There, but
in London or in Paris?
Both.
Wow. Holy shit. Okay.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know. Wild. Especially in London, I met my mom and my 2 sisters there, but I had 2 days by myself, and I stayed in a really cool area. So it was new to me. And when I had traveled to London in the past, just different times in my life, having a little bit more adult money now, it was a very,
Lit.
it was a very different experience, and kind of having like, a little bit more street smarts.
Yeah, for sure.
That sort of internal compass.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Especially, being really into like vintage shopping now.
Yeah, I mean,
the vintage scene there is insane.
Is it better in London or in Paris, or is both pretty?
I would say I preferred London.
Yeah, man.
I mean, cost wise, definitely more expensive, but you're so much closer to designers.
Yeah, the quality is just,
oh my gosh, it was so easy to find, all sorts of designers and really like cool pieces too.
100%.
Even in London and Paris, but especially in London, everyone's street style was.
Yeah, fact.
Like I just was so like I wanted to take pictures of everyone.
Yeah. Where do you want to go where like you haven't been yet?
Where I haven't been yet? It's a really good question. I mean, I've never been to California.
Get the what?
I know.
Get
I
the
know.
fuck out of here.
I know.
Been to Paris 3 times, but I've been to Oakland. Like, yeah.
I know.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's so fun. I mean, yeah, but like, I feel like Cali's dope though.
I know.
You
That's
know,
what
yeah.
says. So that California is my next trip.
Yeah, okay.
I've been to Seattle. So, I mean, my dream trip would be Seattle, go through Oregon, and then end up in California.
Okay, what part of California did you say?
I mean, just to go in general, I would love to go to San Diego.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know how I would feel about LA.
I mean,
that's what everyone says. I can go to New York and sit in traffic.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to shit on LA.
Right. I mean, I've never been, so I have no right. But.
And like I haven't really been to LA proper, but I mean, it's just like, well, it's just, you're not.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, you're not missing anything.
I'd love to go to San Diego.
But San Diego seems dope. I mean,
I
loved Oakland when I went, man. Oakland is fire, bro. Like,
I'm taking notes. So
yeah.
I'll take suggestions.
Oakland is.
I heard Newport is gorgeous.
I've never been to Newport.
Yeah.
Is that like what?
Did you ever watch the OC growing up?
Nah, I didn't.
I think that's where it takes place.
Really?
It's very like beach. I mean, I've never been, just what I've heard.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I just want to get to California.
Cali, man. All right. I
believe I've never been.
Yeah, no. Again, like I'm sure you'll fuck with it. It's like
manifesting it.
Super, just like laid back as you can imagine, But you touched on it earlier as far as like how you evolved, up to this point. But like, when exactly did fashion kind of rear its head for you?
I feel like it's always been there, but I feel like especially with my rebrand, I had a business coach at the time, and she kind of was like, really take this as an opportunity to reshape your brand into what you really want it to be. And a big thing for me was, still being in the food space, but, I feel like, especially in Pittsburgh, it had become a little bit more saturated. The overall approach was a little different.
No.
And, I had been working with restaurants on the back end for a little bit at this point.
Okay.
So, for me, I've always loved fashion. I've always loved, a stage photo shoot. So I worked with a photographer. Maybe you know her. She moved to Portland recently, but her name is Mad Sierra.
I don't think so.
I'll show you her pictures.
Okay, word.
She's super talented.
Word.
And we did a few photo shoots before she moved.
Nice.
And she works a lot with like 3D editing.
Oh shit. What's
so like
that? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, so she like creates these like collage-esque photos. I'll show you them.
Okay, word. All right.
But she'll take like, I think for one of the shoots we did, where it's like me and then there's, a noodle and like pasta. Like she literally put pasta sauce on like a scanner.
What?
Yeah, it's really cool.
God damn, that's kind of wild. All right.
It's hard to explain, but she's so talented and
it's fucking nuts. Okay.
Yeah, Matt is
really combining food and
that's amazing.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So we did a few photo shoots together, especially, for my rebrand. I wanted a lot of new content to work with.
Nice.
And especially moving into a space, not that I always wanted it to be about me, but I was moving into a space where my name would be part of my brand.
Yeah.
So it kind of, as I said before, I feel like I don't really post too much about my personal life.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I've become such a bigger part of my brand at the same time.
Sure,
which is weird to say.
Yeah, no, I mean it's again like I just think it is just a landscape we're in. Like you are your brand very much so.
Yeah.
No, it's just it goes hand to hand,
Exactly. And I feel like it's helped me kind of create like a when people message me, they know exactly who's responding.
Right, is that
or I have I'm as much as I say, I've been at 36,000 followers for so long, I feel like I have a really dedicated audience.
Yeah.
And people that are like, I just put...
Which is all you need.
Exactly.
Like, you just need people
followers
that fuck with what you... Yeah, like, they're there for you.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just gonna rock with the person.
Exactly.
And it's like you post dope food as well, and like you post like certain brand partnerships, and like it's dope. It's like okay, we're like Jess is fucking with this or Jess is fucking. You know what I mean? It just, but it's you that they're buying into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like kind of establishing that version of my brand persona.
Yeah. Right.
Has really
just kind of got you into that.
Yeah.
I'm sure like the modeling kind of got one hand in hand with that.
Yeah. So like the photo shoots I was doing, I was posting those, and then, I had a friend open a clothing store during the pandemic, so I did some, modeling, product modeling.
Was that natural for you to kind of be in front of the camera in that regard? Like,
a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit, especially because I feel like growing up, like models. I call myself a model very loosely.
Yeah.
They all look the same.
Yeah.
Like, especially I remember like seeing my mom's Us Weeklies, and it was like, what celebrities they were calling out for like being fat or like chunky.
Yeah, they were brutal.
It was a really harsh landscape.
They were brutal.
And I feel like
she ate a fry yesterday. It's
over.
It's like
exactly.
God damn.
Yeah.
But like as much as things change, like I feel like that aspect is kind of like
exactly
like it's definitely broadened and like the landscape model has changed, but it's still that nature of like
yeah,
she's eating spaghetti. Where's this gonna lead?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I feel
crazy.
like even being a teenager, like I remember that's like when Ashley Graham, like
okay, yeah,
like I feel like that's like when like plus size or like like inclusive sizing. I feel like that's kind of when
Ashley Graham's definitely
that started happening.
Right now. Yeah, facts.
And I feel like especially my brand being about food, and I exist as I am. I kind of was like, well, I kind of want to be what I didn't see when I was 16.
Yeah.
And like when I didn't really have a sense of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's kind of like what inspired me, and then it kind of came naturally. I work with a clothing brand I actually just posted today, and what I love is that they're really inclusive with their sizing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really like intentional about this is Jess's measurements, and like this is this is the size that she wears, and this is how it fits. And it's like I kind of love having transparency between the two things.
Yeah.
It's like I eat everything I post.
Yeah.
And like this is my actual body.
Mm-hmm.
Especially those magazines, Photoshop.
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, let's let's not forget to mention that fact.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like, and it ties back to being authentic and showing up as myself, and people are receptive to that. So
I feel that. Like what I know, like you said, like you were kind of navigating working with brands, like just pretty much throughout. But like, when did you like really start to sit down and like brands, began to reach out and all that?
Yeah, I definitely worked with some cool brands before I started getting paid. But I feel like a big part of that was me moving here.
Yeah.
And when I moved here on a whim, I kind of was like, okay, I have rent to pay. This has to work.
Yeah.
So someone gave me a piece of advice. They were like, the worst thing a brand can say is no.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So I just would get outreach. I think also moving to Pittsburgh, it kind of was like a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah.
Versus a small fish in a big pond.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like even now I get opportunities. Like working at Bon Appetit, I was like, okay, I got this because I exist in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Fact. Yeah.
So I remember a really defining brand was when I worked with Audi in 2019. They were doing a series for a new car of theirs.
That's fire as hell.
And they were working with what's the James Beard Foundation. They were doing pop-up restaurants in 4 cities to help launch excitement around this new car. And one of the cities was Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And it was all female chefs. And they asked to, partner together, what my rates were for X, Y, and Z content. So, I drove the car, did the content, was in an ad, and, went to the dinner. So it really fit the brand. But I remember at the time that was like my highest paying partnership, which now I think back, and I actually said the other day, I was like, could have charged so much more than I was paid for this.
I was gonna say like what was that game for you, like figuring out
no one talked about it. Right. I was like trying to figure it out, myself. And I think I quoted them $1,000.
Yeah.
And I, now like, thinking back, especially, people don't think about, the usage rights. So, them using it in an ad or things like that.
Yeah.
Those things cost money.
They 100%.
So like, on the flip in the spring I worked with Marriott or Marriott is how I learned it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So, they're
the hotels, right? Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Yeah, which was really cool.
Yeah, you fucking worked it. Like, this is like, your resume is crazy, but yeah, go ahead.
I know, a lot of lore. A lot of lore.
That's lore.
But,
crazy.
I got that being in Pittsburgh, they wanted to showcase a Pittsburgh property.
Yeah.
But what went into that is, their usage rights are 5 years. So I joke, I get the ads on my Instagram and I'm like, oh, well, you'll see these until 2030. Like,
yeah, right.
Who knows what I'll look like in 5 years?
Yep.
But it's, interesting to think of how I approached, my Audi contract and then also Marriott.
Yeah.
Obviously I got paid more now, but even so, it's, I don't, there really isn't a set, this is what you should be charging.
Oh, no, yeah, of
for
course.
this.
Yeah. I mean, like, you got to gauge
right.
your own value, which is why it's important not to undervalue.
Exactly. And just to do things for free.
Exactly.
I think we're in an interesting time because, I spend a lot of time on TikTok.
Yeah.
I would say.
As we all do.
Right. I would say TikTok is my outlet for scrolling versus posting.
Yeah, facts.
And, there are people that have huge TikTok followings, and they make someone's yearly salary in one post.
Yeah, crazy.
So, I feel like there is a really interesting landscape of, being aware of, there are people that get paid someone's salary for one post, but also at the same time, and I feel like I said this on the panel that I was on, that I last saw you at is, no one should work for free.
Yeah.
There is value to your work.
100%.
Especially, when people are reaching out to you for it.
What do you think, like, the line is, like, between, like, working for free for, like, the opportunity of just, like, learning, like, being around certain stuff to, like, not undervaluing yourself?
Totally. I do think that's a personal choice.
Yeah.
There are partnerships that I have where, I lean into it for the exposure.
Facts.
So, versus charging my full rate. So, I think that's a personal choice and just navigating that how you want that to look. But I think a big thing is also, don't be so quick if someone comes at you with a rate. There are times where I've been like, okay, yeah, I'll just do this. Then I'm like, wait, no, I wish I kind of sat and took the time to think through how many, hours will I spend emailing?
Yeah.
How many hours will I spend editing? How many, rounds for revisions and things like that?
Yeah.
So I think it's all just, an internal.
Sure.
What sits right with you?
What makes you like want to work with a brand? Like when you were reaching out, or like when one reaches out to you, like.
Totally. Definitely. If it's a brand that I love. Or if it's like a concept that aligns with my brand. So like with Marriott, it was very lifestyle focused. So they brought in their photographer and, we took pictures at the hotel property. It was the Oaklander in Oakland. And then we also took pictures around the city.
Okay.
So it was really cool content that I was able to use that I can kind of shape into a story that fits my brand.
Okay.
And, it was cool because some of the places were in Southside.
Oh, dope.
Which, like, Southside's biggest fan.
Yeah.
Living there.
Yeah.
So, that really fit my brand organically.
Nice.
And I also had the option to not make a reel, to be quite honest. Because as I said, I hate.
For real.
That doesn't really identify with, how I like to portray
cool,
content.
Because, like, however, like, you want to approach it. You can approach it like really whatever way you want to.
Right. Except if the brand is very.
Are some brands like real heavy? Okay, word.
Yeah. So that was like a deciding factor for me, for sure.
Okay, word. Just wrapping up here, Jess. Just want to thank you so much for taking the time. But one last question for you, just real quick. Like, just looking at the way, again, just like social media and like blogging has evolved in like the last like 10 years, like how have you seen it change in like any concrete way? Oh
my god, so many ways. Yeah, I feel like it's unrecognizable.
I know, for real.
And I feel like we talked a little bit about it just as far as fighting for people to see your content. I think there's a lot more people creating content, which is great. But there's a lot more saturation to kind of fight through to a degree.
Yeah.
And, I think it's different approaching it from like a personal brand perspective versus, a client who's social that I do.
Right.
But I feel like, at the base of it, it's all storytelling.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I feel like if that's kind of what you're using to approach things,
you're doing
and not being afraid to like try new things,
Yeah.
not necessarily conforming to trends because you feel like you have to, but you never know what works or what doesn't unless you try.
Yeah. Well, shit. Well, Jess, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This is the point of the pod where you can just kind of plug away where people can find like the page. If you're going to be at any one particular place next, please let them know. But the floor is yours, and thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, my Instagram is Hungry Jess Big City. I also have a vintage page, Stay Hungry VTG. And where else am I besides home? I think that's everywhere. Yeah, just follow me on social media.
There it is, man. Listen, you heard it. MIC Podcast, episode 189, where it was a master of the creation. We got Jess Iacullo in the building, man. And we're out, bro. Peace.
Thank you. Yep.